She cannot keep from getting food in her hair, on her dress, everywhere. This is why you usually sit away from her, because
that I should put my hair behind me. And I got tzatziki in it.
For my birthday, Brandon and I decided to take in a wine tasting since we were near Napa Valley. We headed to the Berryessa Gap Vineyards, where they allow you to choose from their entire selection of wines the top 5 you would like to sample. As you can see, the samples are very generous pours. But my favorite thing was the scorecard they gave me, which made it very easy to rate my samples and decide if I wanted to purchase a bottle later. If you do buy a bottle there, your tasting is completely free. Another reason we selected this winery over others was that there's also a brewery on site. Brandon prefers beer over wine, and so it gave us both options of things we wanted to sample while we were there. It was a beautiful afternoon, so we enjoyed our time spent on their covered patio, sampling our wine and our beer, and there was a delicious Greek food truck there as well, so we had a great lunch too.
Okay, where are we at?
We are at the Oxbow Market in Napa. We wanted to do a kid-friendly Napa day, so not all wine tastings, and so we're at the Oxbow Market.
Let's go in. Nope. Okay.
Popular spot. Oh my God.
Sorry. We wanted to enjoy Napa with our kids as well, so we chose a whole list of family-friendly activities that we could do with them. We got a real kick out of this cheese stand that has to remind customers not to smell their cheese, though. The Oxbow Public Marketplace was highly recommended online, and it's an area with lots of really fun people watching and things to explore and do. There's several restaurants, bars, ice cream stores, produce stands, bookstores, novelty things, and more. So lots of things to look at, see, and do while you're there. But don't make the same mistake we did of eating lunch first, because you probably will want to taste some things. Also, the bookstore has serious books and some silly ones to look at. After browsing there, we decided to head into downtown Napa, which is a beautiful, walkable city. We saw the pedal crusher go by and lots of people just enjoying a fun Sunday afternoon, so it's definitely worth stopping in the town if you're in the region.
Free appetizer with the purchase of a cocktail. I mean, cocktail had me, but
Well,
free
because
appetizer.
they're the only distillery in town.
They are the only distillery in town.
So
No, they're the
wineries
best distillery in town.
and the only one.
They're the oldest distillery in town as well.
This is really cute in here, though. It's super like Art Deco-y.
It feels like a Cuban restaurant.
It does, yeah.
This is how they're all decorated.
I feel like I watched too much TV today and saying around because now I just feel really tired. I also want to sit on my couch because I don't have a backrest or an armrest.
Oh yeah, look at these cute little stools the kids are on.
They're not comfortable, but they're cute.
They are cute.
After walking around downtown, we did head into the Arboretum Distillery. They have a small booth at the Oxbow Public Marketplace, and the proprietor invited us to head over to the main location. As I mentioned before, Brandon is not a big wine fan, so he was tempted to come in and try some of the fancy cocktails here at the Arboretum. I really enjoyed the cute Art Deco decor, and the kids loved getting to drink fancy lemonades out of their glasses. They thought that was so cool. And it was family friendly during the daytime when we were there, so even if you have children with you, you can still stop into some of these places in Napa. But next we headed to Rad Napa, or the Rail Arts District. The city decided to establish a contemporary art museum that's free and outside. It extends over 2 miles there near the train track where the Napa Valley wine train runs through. It's also probably the only way I can ever get Brandon to head to an art museum. What was cool about it, though, is that there's trails all along the way. So we saw families cycling together, people walking. It's a great way to get some exercise and be exposed to art at the same time. I was super impressed by the amount of detail, and I have no idea how those artists can paint such detailed paintings when they are up really close. We took pictures and spent the afternoon just enjoying looking at several of the displays.
So kind of a surprise deal we found here is 9/11 Memorial. This is September 10th, so tomorrow will mark the 22nd. 22nd anniversary of 9/11, and I mean, Sonny and I, that was one of our very memorable moments. Every generation kind of has one. You've got JFK, you've got Pearl Harbor. It's a very memorable time, a very memorable very memorable moment in our recollection, in our history, that our generation is always going to remember. For us, it's something that is still vivid. We know what we were doing, where we were, the people that we were talking to, things like that, on that day, because it's just such a vivid memory. But it's very cool to see something like this out here, especially since it's just, the day before. So we weren't expecting this, but here we are. So we'll go through this little memorial site and take a look at stuff and share it with you.
At the Castillo de Ibarosa winery. It is a winery that is in and around a Tuscan castle that we get to tour, and then we get to do a wine tasting, and the kids get to come and they get to drink grape juice. And right here in the parking lot, they've actually got some grapes growing. If you're looking for a Napa Valley experience like none other, head over to the Castillo di Amorosa, or Castle of Love in Italian. It's been featured in movies and TV shows before, but it's also the only authentically built medieval Italian Tuscan castle and winery in the United States. Nestled on 171 acres just minutes south of the Napa Valley town of Calistoga, California, this winery opened for business in April of 2007, but its founder started the project way back in 1994. He wanted to keep it as authentic as possible, striving for a castle around the 14th century. And so it grew and changed over time to end up being over 141,000 square feet and including over 107 rooms. He also included features you'd find in a real castle, like a great hall with 2-story replica Tuscan frescoes, a 500-year-old fireplace, 8,000 tons of hand-chiseled stones, a drawbridge, a medieval chapel, dungeon, and torture chamber. Something we enjoyed about this winery, though, is that even guests in your group who do not drink wine can still participate. They offer grape juice tastings as well, with non-alcoholic grape juice made from the Muscat grapes grown right there on the property. They call it the best grape juice in the world. And it better be at $16 a bottle.
Julie, what are you doing?
Yeah, wait, stop. Just a second. I hear it.
So we're playing our wine glasses. Our wine crystals.
Teaching these kids new things every day.
Pretty sure we're the only people at the wine tasting playing the glasses.
Pretty sure we're the only people also that don't care.
We do look like we're having.
Wait, I stop.
We are having a lot more fun.
Let's see.
So yeah, we were at the, what is this? The kind of the watchtower area of
This is the South Tower.
Castillo de Amorosa.
Amorosa.
I don't know if I said that right or with the proper accent, but views are pretty cool up here. There's a big, I don't know if it's a house or if it is another winery, but something,
Or a palace.
something up on the hill. Looks really cool.
Some palatial home.
Yeah, something worth a lot of money. But yeah, the views are pretty amazing up here. Yeah, I don't know if they can or not, but
Yeah, it's like
so we're in the South Tower of the Castillo de Amorosa. Awesome views out here. We saw a chicken turkey looking thing. Brielle said it looked like it had bell bottoms. I thought that was pretty cool, but there's a moat down there. The kids are, you can see them up there. They already made their way around, yeah. And yeah,
you can just explore the whole castle.
yep, it's wide open. So
And it's like an authentic castle, which is cool. Like, I thought it might be a little kitschy, but it's actually really cool, and it feels like castles that Brandon and I have been to in Europe. So
yeah,
very cool.
I mean the red brick and stuff like that. That's clearly not
Looks a little newer, but they've
castle.
tried to do it.
But the outside looks good. Like the outside is all different stone materials and different sizes and just kind of wedged in place. So that looks authentic. But the inside here, obviously, it's these red bricks and things like that. Probably from Oklahoma. So.
Probably from
All right. Well, we're getting ready to be run out of here, so we're gonna turn this one off. Sunny getting back to her Catholic roots over there.
No, I was just thinking, not being Catholic, I've never lit a candle in a
chapel. But yeah, I was like, oh, this is cool. I don't actually know what the Catholic tradition is.
After leaving the medieval chapel, we decided to head down to the castle gift shop. If you've chosen to purchase any bottles of wine or grape juice, they will hold them down here for you so that you can have your hands free while you're touring the castle. We were excited to poke in their magnet collection though and see what we could add to our RV refrigerator collection of places that we've been. Around the corner was yet another surprise, something you would think we would get used to at the castle, but it truly is a surprise around every corner. When you come out of the gift shop, the yard is covered in wild animals. 2 emu, chickens, a rooster, and some goats are all over the property. We were there at the perfect time too, kind of late in the day, so we got to see the animals and pet the goats, but then we also got to watch the employees round them up for bed, which was a fun time for the kids and us. The chickens were sent to the hen house, the rooster and emu stayed in the yard, but my favorite part was watching the employees chase the goats back to their bed. They kind of run like our dog Reggie does, but it was really funny because they kept trying to stop and eat the grapevines on their way. So watching them get chased out of the vines was maybe one of my favorite things. If you're looking for a really fun time in Napa for the whole family, you can probably call it good.
All right. Getting ready to board. Getting ready to board on the Alcatraz ship. Right over there.
You don't know what we did. I know what you did. I don't know.
Sadly.
Yeah. Well, and he died.
Do you know that they used to prescribe measles to piercing walls because the high fever would kill it? But then they already had the vaccine for measles.
We knew a visit to San Francisco would not be complete without touring Alcatraz Island. As I've referenced in other videos, I love history, so I knew this was a place we wanted to go. Today, it's run by the National Park Service. However, you don't need to pay for regular admission like you would at other national parks, as instead you ride the ferry over there and you pay for a ticket on the ferry boat. Make sure you look online and get your reservations made so that you don't miss out on your opportunity to get over to the island and see all that there is to see there. It's a quick little ride, about 1 mile to 1.5 miles, so you get over there relatively quickly, and on the way you have beautiful views of the island itself as well as the city of San Francisco and the surrounding area. There is an entire population of flies, though, that swarm you as soon as you get close, and they don't shoo away easily, so be forewarned if you're not a huge fan of bugs. However, they are just flies, and so we were able to get off the boat without any trouble, and they provide very thorough instructions for making sure you don't miss the boat when you're ready to leave the island as well. We happened to get there the last day of the season, so I'm really glad that we did not miss out on our opportunity to see Alcatraz.
Did you get a picture of all the departure times so we don't miss our boat?
Would you like me to?
Yeah, you probably should, yeah.
I was kind of like, we'll be here longer than probably anyone that came off.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to come back at a random time and then have to wait for 30 minutes.
Okay.
So.
I will take a picture.
Yeah, I can take your phone and take a picture.
Okay, I will send Brielle to take with.
Can we trust her?
I hope
To
so.
walk 15 feet and take a picture of
Well,
that.
you were saying that you needed to ride the
The
tram.
jail's
to
over
get
there,
home.
and then the lighthouse is right.
Here we are walking up the hill away from the dock where Brielle thought she might need the tram. They do offer a tram for those who are unable to traverse the hilly terrain on the island, but they recommend that if you're able to do so, that you just walk the island. I will say I was surprised at just how hilly it is, however. So make sure you're wearing comfortable shoes and you're dressed for the weather because you really are on a rock in the middle of the bay. I was excited to come to Alcatraz because I knew the history as a federal penitentiary. I knew that it housed some of the world's most notorious criminals, including Al Capone and the Burn Man of Alcatraz. However, did you know that way before the American Civil War, it was a fort, and then it became a military prison before it became a maximum security federal pen? And in 1969, after the penitentiary had shut down, the Indians of all tribes occupied Alcatraz for 19 months in the name of freedom and Native American civil rights. I knew none of those things before I arrived, so I was blown away at all the new things to learn about the island while we were there. Also, since Alcatraz is run by the National Park Services, Steele was able to work on another Junior Ranger badge. You can see him with his book right there, where he was learning about the plants, the animals, and the history of the island. He has been collecting those Junior Ranger badges at all the federal parks as we travel along, so he was very excited to pick up another one in a place where he thought he wasn't going to. Then we headed into the main building to learn more about the jail itself.
What's that?
Those look like some thin sheets. I'm assuming this is where they would pick up their uniforms, their socks, and their bedding. It looks pretty thin, so I hope it doesn't get cold at night. After we left the area where prisoners would have showered and received their uniforms, we headed up to the cell block for the audio tour. It is available in several languages. A word of caution, however, if you have young children in your group. You are going to meet the prisoners and learn about some of the crimes committed to land them here in the first place. Also, you will learn about some escape attempts that were rather violent. The stories are not told in an overly gratuitous way, however, but it is something to be aware of, as many of these crimes were rather gruesome. While you tour the cell block, you will get the opportunity to actually go inside some of the cells, including these that were in the solitary confinement section. That's why they're so dark. While we were in there, I definitely got a feel for the claustrophobia and how hard it would be to live most of your time in these cells for many years. Afterwards, it was off to the dining room, which was considered the most dangerous section in the entire jail. The reason for this is that all of the prisoners had access to silverware and they were congregated together in a group 3 times a day in this room. Extra security measures were in place, and apparently the food was pretty good, and for the most part the prisoners did remain calm, but the guards had to be on high alert in that space. When we went into the gift shop, there's also several areas where you can see the rules and regulations that were in place in the prison to try to keep the prisoners as calm as possible so that nothing would go wrong. Then we went back outside to see the lighthouse and the remains of the warden's house and the apartment buildings where the guards' family members would have lived. For some reason, I never thought about wives and children being on the island as well, but they were, and so it was really interesting to see where normal life would have existed right outside the jail itself. While we were over there, we also got to go into the administration building and see the offices of the warden and the guards when they weren't in the actual prison. There's also a small room there where family members of the incarcerated prisoners could have come to talk with them on occasion through the little window. Brandon thought it would be the ultimate place to play a practical joke on those taking the audio tour.
Going in the visitation room? I didn't get the reaction there though. No, I couldn't see it. It's kind of dark in here. I feel like Brandon could sit in here all day and just wait.
Well, it's so funny because they can't hear you.
Because they've got the audio.
And they're just in their own zone.
Oh my gosh.
So like somebody's
Oh, there's a kid. Peeking through there. Oh, you alright, dude? Yeah.
Okay.
Here, we're like right here.
So Nicholas Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery came in on that end of the island.
Oh my gosh.
And then saved San Francisco right there.
Welcome to the Rock.
So you, with the movie references, are like me talking about the historical stuff. I'm the history nerd. Brandon's the action movie buff.
Our final stop on Alcatraz was a trip to the yard, the area where prisoners were taken outside for recreation. If they had behaved appropriately, they were allowed to play sports out here, and apparently baseball was quite popular. They had a diamond set up, so the kids had a great time recreating a game themselves. What struck me most about this space was how cool and windy it felt out here. And with the tall walls, you could barely catch a glimpse of San Francisco across the bay. But if you spend most of your time in a tiny cell, you probably lived for these moments outside. Make sure to tune in next week and see where we're headed.